most amazing thrift find I think I have ever managed. Is this tier worthy? I think this is tier worthy. Oh my god. Well, that didn't go as planned. They are developing ridiculous amounts of holes. Okie pokey weirdos, I'm Rev, and I have bought a new wig. It is very long, it is quite heavy, but it was only $20. Because I am planning to upgrade my Grell cosplay from 2013 and bring it to life in 2025 for Anime Fest this year. It did come slightly pre-styled, a little bit of a mullet going on here, so I need to do the spikes on that, and I also need to go ahead and crimp all of this because it tangles just by being looked at. So, because the wig is going to take such a long time to do, we will check in with wig styling Rev periodically throughout the video. Get back here. So let's go from head to toe and see how I am upgrading this cosplay. And welcome to my world of cosplay shenaniganery. The very top, we have the wig. So, wig styling Rev, what are those first steps in getting into this hot mess? After brushing the wig out, I started by crimping the wig. Oh my god, it's grabbing. Well, that didn't go as planned. Why are all these loose hairs coming out now? Oh my god, stop falling over. The wig I originally had for this cosplay was a $20 Party City wig. I doused it in baby powder and melted it down with the hairdryer as much as I could have back in 2013. Crimping wigs was not a regular thing back then, but I did notice that putting really high heat on it and combing it out during that time definitely helped. So that process eventually turned into steaming and crimping the wig, as well as using tacky glue to keep all kinds of little spikes from losing their shape. And how is this wig coming along now, Rev? Then I decided the crimping was a little too intense, so I moved on to the flat iron. And to give you a little explanation on why and how crimping works, here's how my brain understands it. Initially, the wig fibers, the little bitty plastic hairs, they start out shaped more like straws. With them being circular, they more easily swivel around each other and get tangled. Therefore, adding heat and flattening them out makes them shaped more like popsicle sticks. It's a lot harder to shuffle them around, and they're made to be a lot more stackable like building blocks. Then, by adding the crimping to it, on top of flattening them out with heat, you get these little steps. That step-style shape, it allows the fibers to nestle into each other kind of like Lincoln Logs. Who else is that nerd who played with those when you were a kid? And even though crimping can give you some irregular shapes on occasion, they can still nestle into each other and be less likely to move around each other and get tangled because they fit together rather than swiveling around each other and getting tangled. Very lightly using the flat iron so that it would take some of the crimp out since Grell has such beautiful long straight hair, but leaving just enough in so we still have that step ladder situation and the fibers are less likely to get tangled. I left more of a crimping texture for the fibers that would be laying along my back because people wouldn't be seeing those as much, as well as that's where the hair would be getting the most friction, with it being rubbing up against my back as well as my backpack being on my back. Next up, and working our way down, we have the glasses. These glasses are actually my reading glasses from, I want to say, 2018. I purposely got my reading glasses in these frames for my Grell cosplays because I had another pair of glasses that were a brighter red that I used for the original cosplay, but I wanted a much darker red to go with the hair and to better match what we have in the anime. Along with the glasses, in 2013 I made this glasses chain. I made it with a very, very long piece of clear elastic, crimp beads, and these little bitty gray beads that I believe I picked up at Michael's. After measuring out the length of the elastic, I laid on the floor and stretched the whole length out across the floor and marked out in Sharpie on that elastic every place that a bead needed to be. However, I did not put a crimp bead at either end of the chain because I knew gravity would take care of a good portion of it and keep the bead where it needed to be, as long as there was one crimp bead keeping it from dropping down any further. So 6 beads in, I started doing a double crimp bead, and I'll do it that way again since that worked so well. I would really like to update this chain and do it with wire this time because I'm really afraid that the elastic is going to give out on me on the con floor, as well as this clear elastic has yellowed quite a bit. I've untangled the glasses chain. Hopefully you can actually see how yellow this has gotten. But luckily, I had more clear elastic in my stash. I was going to be very sad if I had to do it with beading wire because I really like the look of the beads being suspended in air without having anything to attach them to look more like the anime. So we're going with clear elastic again. And thanks to the measurements on the mat, you can see that each bead is 1 inch apart, and there are a lot of them. However, I do have a lot of small business things to take care of before the con, so these are not taking priority at the moment. They will sit off to the side and I will see if I can get to the glasses chain before I leave for the con.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed. Think you're something out of my nightmares. See me right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing me?
Silhouettes of you are like a taunt. Never really know just what you want. With you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palms. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free. You know I'm addicted to you, and it's twisted you've been gifted with the evil voodoo. Got me coming back for more, even when I've been screwed. Dolls full of pins, pierce my heart straight through. I got issues in my head, I like you in my bed, but you keep me on red. Oh, everything is like a test. I better not text or I'll come off desperate.
Well, that's lovely. At least that didn't happen at the con. Is this tier worthy? I think this is tier worthy. I did all of that work. Let's see if another one breaks. Those aren't breaking. So why did that bit break off? That's not breaking. Okay. Question is, can I reattach this one? Luckily it'll be in the back. So hopefully it being slightly shorter won't be a problem. I think I'm gonna double up on the crimp beads here to make sure we have a proper attachment again. Oh, this crimp bead's just gonna die on me. Alright, we get 2 of them. And attach the strands again. Okay, let's try that again. Oh, lords and ladies. Okay. I fixed it. It doesn't look absolutely amazing, but I didn't want to start all that work over when I'm con crunching. But it's really hard to notice. Can you see which one I fixed? It happened again. I'ma scream. This is not cool. Why? I just need to get new elastic, honestly, but this is what we're working with right now, and I'm gonna finish what we have so I can get to the con tomorrow morning. There's all the old elastic. You can see how yellow it's gotten. And this new elastic broke twice! So I actually need to get brand new elastic and redo this whole thing again after the con. But because the old elastic was so stretched out, I am about 6 inches over what I actually need. Too much is better than too little. I'm gonna make the loop and cut off the excess. Finally done. That took me almost 2 hours, maybe a little more. I'm exhausted from just this. Mentally, because it kept breaking. I need to move on to other things. I also made earrings that match the glasses chain. However, with how the wig is looking like it's going, I don't think I'm gonna wear the earrings because nobody's gonna see them. And they'll just get tangled in the wig fibers. Continuing moving down, we have the teeth. Hang on, I had those downstairs. One sec. Rum Tum Tugger. Furry related things. Belts and suspenders. Where's my Grell bag? That's my CL bag. A bag of weapons. There it is, all the way in the bottom. Bow tie. It's kind of mangled right now. And guess what I'm holding in here? This ancient Jolly Rancher Chews box. Let go please, there we go. Glasses chain, which is extremely tangled and I gotta fix that. And teeth. Let's get upstairs and I'll talk more about these. These are the teeth that I made in 2013. I made them with those little wax bottle candies. Not suggested. I watched someone's tutorial on how they made Soul Eater's teeth, and I used these teeth for both Soul Eater and Grell and a few other characters as well. That cosplayer used friendly plastic, but that was not nearly as accessible to me at the time, so I used what I could get my hands on. Fake plastic nails from the dollar store, as well as the little wax bottle candies from the dollar store.
Let's shove my teeth in my face. My hair stuck in my teeth. Ah. Okay. It's still there. Okay.
While these work okay for little photo shoots and things like that, the wax heats up very quickly and it's not super fun to have in my mouth by a certain point. Now I was considering completely updating these teeth and getting special effects teeth, but they're 50 bucks. And I wasn't completely willing to spend 50 bucks right now on those teeth because I normally wear masks at conventions. And before anyone says that masks do not work, I'm going to explain why they work for me because it is very specific to my experiences. I have a lot of allergies, and something that helps is wearing a mask and then having gum or a mint in my mouth so that I have a very specific environment that I'm creating for myself that I'm breathing in instead of breathing in everyone's perfumes at the con. This way I don't have any kind of serious allergic reaction because I am not as strongly smelling the things that would make me react. On top of that, because of my allergies, I am constantly rubbing at my nose, trying to get the itchiness to go away. Therefore, wearing a mask reminds me to either not rub at my nose, or it is at least keeping my dirty fingers from touching everything at the con to getting to the holes in my face that would cause the germs to get into my body faster. Therefore, I know that the mask works for me largely because allergies. This mask is perfect because it's got the little toothy smile. It is falling apart though because I have worn it to a couple of cons and it was a cheap little thing. So I do need to upgrade this by throwing it through the sewing machine real quick. Wig styling rev, what do you got? After brushing out the wig again, because that's gonna happen a million times, I backcombed the mullet part and teased the heck out of it, pretty much recreating an old Black Friday tutorial. Then I brushed the top layer of the bangs over the matted part, that way we would still have the volume without seeing all the mess. Next up, moving our way down, Grell's bow tie. This is a length of ribbon that I got from the HL Demon. I try my best not to shop there anymore, but it was 2013 and not all the things had come out on the interwebs about them yet. Generation 1, Generation 2. You can tell this is older because the red is coming off right here. This is actually from the same ribbon spool. This is the last of it. And I wore it for the Cheshire Cat video.
She said, kill a cat like I'm Luca Magnotta.
And now I will be wearing it for this one. This strip definitely needs a decent iron since the last time, but it really isn't having a whole lot of problems just yet. It's not falling apart like the other strip is yet, but probably after this con I am going to have to get myself some new ribbon to update. I've also got little kindergarten red scissors. I do have two. I have to find the second one if I want both. Although I will be working with my hands a lot at the con, and I'll probably only be posing for photos with one pair of scissors, so I don't think I need the second one. Next, on our way down, we have the white dress shirt. This is a very basic white dress shirt. I wear it for a lot of cosplays because I cosplay plenty of characters who either wear suits or school uniforms. I have a whole bunch of different dress shirts in different cuts and different shades of white, as well as having different patterns or textures on them. But this plain white one is perfect for Grell, and it is a newer shirt. I believe I got it from the thrift store about 4 years ago, because the shirt I originally wore for this cosplay was the white dress shirt that my mom got me for my 6th grade choir concert. That thing is extremely old and yellowed now, but I still have it because I am planning to chop it up for parts or dirty it up for characters who have school uniforms that are a complete mess. Following the dress shirt, we have the vest. Yes, I know Grell's vest is brown. The original vest I had was something we quickly found at the thrift store. It was black with white pinstriping and massive white buttons, so I wasn't a huge fan of it. Then I managed to thrift this one, which has red and black, perfect for color combination, even if I could not find the right brown color. I have since managed to thrift fabric that is the right color brown so I can make a vest. Again, small business is taking priority right now, so this is the vest I am likely going to go with instead of taking the time to make a new one just yet, unless in 3 days I plan to go to the thrift stores to find some things, and a brown vest for Grell will be on that list if I can manage to thrift a brown vest within that time. Otherwise, Anime Fest 2025 Grell will have this one, and it most definitely needs a decent iron. That's easy enough to take care of. And this vest I have already altered as well because I had to put a stitch down the side seam on both sides to take it in at my waist, since it was made to fit a masculine figure, and that's very boxy, but I wanted it to come in at my waist to show off my hourglass figure, considering that would work very well for Grell anyway. My next outer layer, the coat. I thrifted this thing at Goodwill in 2013. It was going to be $16, and then it ended up being on sale for $12. Most amazing thrift find I think I have ever managed. I love that it is bright red, usually a blood red, which is most definitely why I wanted to upgrade the wig, but I love how eye-catching this is and how much it contrasts against the rest of the red of the costume. I think it works better for my version of Grell just because it catches more attention. I did hand sew a black bow onto the back from a giant spool of ribbon on a little crooked, and I would like to now burn the ends of it so that it is not fraying while I'm at the con, as well as adjusting the crookedness that is going on at the moment. I also only hand sewed the top of it, allowing gravity to hold the bottom down, but I do want to completely tack it on now. So what are we looking at this thing by this point? With Grell having all her individual little spikes, I sectioned those off with tiny hair ties, and then steamed the heck out of those things. For a final touch, I mixed tacky glue with very hot water because I am highly allergic to hairspray. So this is essentially my version of hairspray. And I more so focused the tacky glue on the ends of the spikes rather than the whole wig because tacky glue is a bit of overkill unless you're really going for a super cartoony look. Moving on down, we have the pants. Let me shift the camera down a little bit. You might not be able to see my head. That's fine. Originally, I wore black slacks that I tacked in at the sides just a little bit to fit better at my waist. However, I got really sick, lost a lot of weight, and had to get rid of those trousers. I have since bought another pair of trousers that I did the same exact thing to. I did wear them for filming Castiel, however, they don't fit great. And I don't really have time right now to be completely cutting these apart and essentially creating brand new pants from the same material. So, I am wearing skin tight slacks right now. They are quite tight, but they are quite stretchy and comfy for me. I think that's going to be perfect for the con because it is likely going to warm up a bit by the end of the month. And wearing those trousers would be quite warm. So I'd much prefer to be a little chilly at the con rather than too hot because cosplayers overheating is always a massive mess. So I'm not going to spin the wheel of chance on that one and I'll just be a little chilly, if not still a little warm because I'm already wearing 3 layers up top. I likely will wear a belt for these pants because even though I have decent sized hips and it doesn't come down very far, I like them to stay up higher since they are technically higher waisted, and the belt will just help keep them in place. Next, there's the gloves. One sec. This is the glove bag. Let's see, I've got one. I have 2 hands, there we go. My original cosplay, I still have the gloves from it because these are cute, dinky little gloves from Dollar Tree in 2013. I do not want to wear these to the con. They are quite warm and they're not very functional. They're old, they're falling apart. So, a friend of mine in her 60s gave me these gloves. She said she got them in the 80s, they're real leather, and she only wore them for 2 winters and then they got stuffed into the back of her closet. When she started cleaning out her whole house to get rid of all of the old junk, she gave me a lot of her old clothing. And these gloves are amazing. I love them. They fit me perfectly. A whole bunch of her old clothes did, which was awesome. And it looks really nice for this cosplay. However, at the con, I'm going to be selling my keychains and pins, and I need to be able to grab things easily as well as use the touch pads on the tablets and phones and anything else electronic that I have in front of me. So, sadly, these would work amazingly for photo shoots and videos, but not when I'm working. I got one more pair of gloves for this situation. These gloves I originally bought for my Edward Scissorhands cosplay, but the pattern of the grippies on the inside of the hand were supposed to be snowflakes, and then they were not. So I used my old version of these gloves so I'd have the snowflake patterns, and now the newer gloves will be going towards my Grell cosplay. Because these gloves have touchpad sensitive pointer finger and thumb pads, So these will be a lot more comfortable for me to wear because they're not nearly as thick. I have more grip and I can also touch the touch screens, which will work a lot better for me on the con floor. I used bobby pins to keep these little swoops off of the face. That way when I undo these, it'll only be slightly in the face. So that this is the only piece that is going to be driving me bananas. Little wispies here to turn up a little more, but we're getting somewhere. Then I realized that all of Grell's little swoopies didn't exactly melt into the wig with the steamer in the way that I had hoped. So I recreated the swoopies in a more exaggerated way by piling it on top of the head and steamed the heck out of it again. Now for shoes. We got a lot going on here. The original shoes I wore for this, I call them my Star Trek shoes. They work great with the trousers that hang down over them, so you can't tell that they cut off at the ankle. But with these skin tight slacks, these shoes aren't gonna work so well because you'll be able to see my socks, as well as you can see how low these are cut. Not a big fan, although I do love wearing these to get a little bit of height. And also it's got a nice solid heel, so I'm not tripping over the teeny tiny stiletto heels. I have various muscular issues, and walking around in heels is really not comfortable for me and causes a lot of physical issues in my body. I walked about a mile in these heels to find a bench. I took my wig off and I'm carrying my heels back. It was not worth wearing the heels all the way back. My hips are already hurting. Therefore, I also do not want to be wearing these at a con because they don't quite fit me. They're slightly too big, and a heel like this is definitely going to cause me to start hurting. The next pair of heels that I had gotten for this cosplay. This is a little more height. Little ankle boot, super cute. I wear it for lots of cosplays because they are some of the most comfortable heels I have ever worn. Again, I still don't want to be walking around a con in heels. I did manage to wear these at the con for Fizzarali, but it was really painful. I did develop a blister and my muscular issues really started acting up. So, the next choice of shoe that I normally have for Grell are my basic black combat boots. However, these are super old. I got them in 2017 and they're developing ridiculous amounts of holes. They're really thinned out now and I keep having to put new padding in them. I don't want these to fall apart while I'm walking around the con floor. So, the final decision on shoes. I am looking at wearing my red combat boots. They are quite a bit darker than any red I have going on the costume. Here they are against the wig, but based upon all the other options I've gone through already, I think these are going to be my best bet for me to be comfortable, me to be able to work, and me to be able to still match my cosplay with my footwear in some way. I do need to switch out the white laces. I will likely put black in there. Then I put in some black laces, but I was finding I really didn't like the look of them. So to make the look a little more feminine, I grabbed my black ribbon, melted the ends with fire, and laced the boots with some chunky, silky black ribbon. And that turned out to be so much more the look that I was going for this queen. Once getting all the little swoops into the wig, a lot of the mullet pieces seemed a little too long, so I went in and cut a straight line with the scissors, but then used my special comb thinners to feather out the ends. And lastly, it is time to pack up this wig to go to the con with me. Let's get her braided so she's not making a huge mess and undoing everything I just did. wig has been brushed, braided, and bagged. In this bag, we have the wig grip, as well as a wig cap, some extra hair ties, and a parade of bobby pins. Time to put all of the cosplay into my backpack so that I can ride the bus without getting harassed. And hopefully I can put some test fit photos in here for you. Otherwise, you'll be able to see the full cosplay during my con vlog once I get that posted. So please remember those subs, comms, thumbs, and a ding, because that helps the channel ever so much, and I am ever so grateful if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, because the watch hours are super important. And I would be extra grateful if you could support this content, my work, this channel, and my small businesses through Ko-fi. Otherwise, I just really appreciate you hanging out here on YouTube with me. And welcome to the madness. Something I have noticed about this shirt while walking around and trying to film everything, the tag on the left flank is really itchy and I need to cut it out before I lose my freaking mind. Yeah, there's all kinds of tags. There's a whole bunch of them. No wonder I was so itchy. Okay. Did I fix it? Did I fix it? Oh my gosh, that's better. My sensory needs. Holy cow. Because it is very... Oh, the camera's wobbling like crazy.